Good morning. How do you export data from Workbooks CRM? If it's just a small section, a small subsection of data you want to get out of Workbooks or the whole CRM database, then this session is for you. Hello, my name is Tim Wilmot and I'm joined by my colleague Peter Johnson and our company Wizard Systems. We're a leading independent CRM solutions supplier of systems like Workbooks, and we help mainly small and mid-sized organizations with simple solutions to improve their sales, marketing, and customer service productivity. So thanks for watching this session. Just a small, a session, a number of series of regular training topics that we're doing right now, focusing on different areas in and around Workbooks. And on this session, we're going to cover exporting data from Workbooks. Now, this presentation will be about a quarter of an hour or so in duration, just an overview of this feature. It's not meant to be in-depth training. My company, Wizard Systems, we offer many extensive options to assist you on any significant data export from your Workbooks system for whatever purpose you require. The audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel, and we'll do our best to answer those at the end on our little Q&A session at the end. Probably best to type them in as you think of them rather than waiting till the end of our call. And this call is being recorded. After the presentation, you will get an email from our system with a link to recording that you can play back as many times as you want to, and we'll put it up on our YouTube channel as well. If you go to YouTube, do a search for Wizard Systems, you'll see a whole load of other Workbooks training videos up there to help you get more out of Workbooks. Okay, before we dive into this session topic, exporting data, just a quick mention about Wizard Systems. So a long-standing CRM solutions provider focusing on small and medium-sized businesses. We provide a complete service around Workbooks as regards implementation, training, and help desk support. We're here to make sure you get the most out of Workbooks. Okay, well, I'm now going to pass over to my colleague, Peter, who will take us through exporting data. Just bear with us a second. We're all working from home right now, and I'm just swapping my screen over to Peter.
Great. Good morning, Tim. Hopefully you can see my screen. Got the normal test system up.
Yes, looking good.
And you can hear me. Good. That's great. Okay, so good morning to everybody that's attending today. This is going to be quite swift because it's really simple to do. So two areas, as Tim mentioned, a bespoke data out of the system. So do you want just a list of customers, organizations, people, cases, even, whatever it is, you can do a very quick export into Excel or into a CSV format, and that can be driven by landing pages or reports. I'm going to show you both of those, and also have a look at as Tim also mentioned, getting all of the data out in one go in an SQL format, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail when we get there. So starting off, really straightforward. I'm going to go to a landing page. In this example, I'm going to use the organizations landing page. Go along here, and I'm going to select all organizations. Of course, you could filter this list in the normal Workbooks way. Now, this list has a presented set of columns, but of course we can change that. Perhaps for this export, I'd like to add and remove the columns. I may need, let me just go in here. I may need perhaps the country or the, let's have a look. We've got a category up here, for example. If I scroll down, we can find a column that I don't want. I don't want this map position on this list to export, but I may want industry. So you can see here, by me configuring these columns, I have listed all of the information that I need to see. And yes, of course, you could filter this to restrict this list in the values that you want to see. And then once done, really simple, provided you have the capability as a user to do this. And if you don't, then you need to ask your administrator to allow you that capability. But you have this export button in the top left, and you can see here I have the choice of either a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet. If I select the Excel option, you do get a warning if this is a large data set. Then it may take a little while to come through, but this is quite small, so it's pretty much instant. And you can see here I can select the downloaded Excel file. This is just telling you that this is coming through as an XLS and not an XLSX, depending on the version of Excel you've got. So yes, I'm happy with that coming through. And here I have, and if I expand these out, you can see there is the data come across with the columns that I've selected. Now you may need to choose the enable editing depending on how the security is set up in your Excel application. So I'm going to enable editing, and of course then I can go through, deal with the data in some way, change information en masse, that type of thing, and of course do my normal save as option so that you can actually store it somewhere locally on your machine or in a preferred location. So really straightforward to export from a landing page, and it's a standard functionality. There's nothing special there, just the capability of doing so by having that export button. Now, that's okay on a landing page, but what if you want to mix information? So I need some organization information and some person information and perhaps other information like sales data, that type of thing. To get that data, you can't use a landing page, you have to use a report. So I put a shortcut down here to a report, which is just a customer list here. So on my customer list here of 424 records, I've got the columns that I need, and hopefully you can see on here there's a bit of a mix in terms of organization information. You can see I've got industry, the employer record of a person, but then I go to person information like job title, job role, the name, and also email address. Now with a report, of course, you can control what the column headings are. Perhaps I'm exporting this for some reason and I don't like the assigned to name as the column, but I want manager perhaps. So if I edit this report, I can go to that column assigned to, I can rename it on the report to manager. Of course, it's still looking at the assigned to field. Save and close, and then save and run. And of course that column now says manager, which means when I use the same button as I did on the landing page, export, top left hand corner there, Excel, and again that warning, it may take some time. If I choose open, and you can see here that I have changed that column heading to manager, and I've got all of that data that I wanted visible in an Excel spreadsheet, or of course a CSV if you do prefer. That CSV is the raw data. It's very easy to import into other systems. Perhaps you've got a mailing application, or you've got some other application from a marketing team that they like to use, that type of thing. If it's different from Workbooks, you can export as a CSV. Again, enable editing and save in the normal way. So two very simple options there. So a landing page, standard opening from the start menu, but if you want some bespoke data with a mix of information from different record types, then a report is the way to go, but the way in which you do it is exactly the same. So Tim also mentioned that we're going to have a look at exporting the whole database from the CRM system here. So to do so, you will need admin rights. We go into the start and configuration area, and then we go to the database area here, and you can see I've got an option here, export database. Now, this does it into SQL format, and you're probably wise to install the MySQL Server application. You can get it from the link actually here they give you, but this will export the whole database, so all tables and all information. And then, of course, you can manipulate that data with the powerful tools that you get in that database software application. Obviously, you don't get the nice fancy front end as you do in workbooks, but it gives you the ability and the facility to manipulate that data and use it in whatever way you need to. This is also quite a useful way of perhaps taking a backup at some point if you really need to, and save that SQL file just in case something untoward happens, and you never know. So export as SQL, and you can see here it's going to give you some time to get that downloaded. Okay, so really simple. That's exporting from workbooks, landing pages, reports, or a full export at this area here. So Tim, you mentioned going over some questions, so hopefully if you have been typing any questions throughout that short session, then Tim can take a look and read them out.
Yeah, so first question from Dave. Can I automate an export on a regular basis? Yeah, I suppose that's a good question. You know, when you're typically, if you're working with an outside marketing company or another application, you want to export the data out. So that's a good question, Dave. Thank you.
Yes, there are some methods for doing so. Primarily, I mean, there's a couple of options there. We covered, I think it was a couple of sessions ago, the ability to send an automated email of a report. So that would be an ideal method to export the database, send it to an email address. Perhaps you want to have a look back at one of the earlier sessions that we did where we were automatically emailing reports, and of course you can email that as a CSV attachment, or if you wanted to drop it into a particular location, there are some custom scripts in the system. We can help you set these up. Although the documentation is pretty good, there is a standard script in the script library. I think, let me just find the one that it is. There's this one here, this SFTP script option allows importing and exporting to a particular set location that you have, and that really joins a report to dropping a CSV into a file location that perhaps you would like to get to. This is quite useful when you're transferring information from one system to another on a regular basis. Yeah, good question. Yeah.
Okay, next question from Tyler. What's the size of the full export? So I guess that last option we went through, exporting a whole database.
Yeah, well, that would very much depend on how much data you've got in it. But if you need to know the size of your database, you can find out again from the configuration area and that database menu. You've got storage usage, and this will give you a full breakdown of all of the areas and the database size in gigabytes here, and tells you how much you're using at the top as well here. So that'll give you some indication of the data size, but of course that would depend on how much data you individually in your business have within the Workbooks environment.
Yeah, it's typically, you know, how long have you been using Workbooks? But you can see with those database sizes there, it's minuscule. Applications like Workbooks, they're very efficient in storing data, so you shouldn't have any concerns over have I got enough capacity in whatever to take the full export. So
yeah, it's generally just attachments and file uploads are the ones that grow. I see grow the most, and it's something that you might want to manage if you're worried about the data usage. But normally the biggest files are the uploaded files and also email attachments down here in terms of size. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you've been recording lots of activities and so on, lots of transactions, then it might be, your activities that might take up a fair bit of space anyway if you've been using it for a good few years. A good question. Okay, don't think there's any more questions coming through there. So thanks very much for your time, those listening live, or if you're watching a recording, thank you very much for watching this. If you've got any questions about workbooks or want any more information about workbooks itself and setup and training, please contact us at Wizard Systems. So I'm Tim Wilmot, Peter Johnson as well, Tim and Tim at wizard-system.com, Peter at wizard-system.com. Thanks for your time. If you've got any suggestions for future workbooks topics, we'd love to hear from you. Please let us know if you've got any ideas that would be of interest and something you think would be of interest to other workbooks users. We'd love to hear from you. But we'll be meeting up again, same time next week for another workbooks topic. Not sure exactly what that's going to be. We'll let it be a surprise, but watch out for your email. And also we'll post up on our blog as well on what that topic's going to be. And we'll catch up with you next time. Thanks very much indeed, and have a good week. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.